Hi guys, Brandon with Quack back here. This week's Firearm Friday, we're going to be talking about the Yugoslavian M24 52 Mauser. So let's get into it. So the Yugoslavian M24 Mauser was a Mauser that was designed in 1924 by the FN company for use of the Yugoslav partisans to fight with during wartime, but it was used a lot in Yugoslavia during World War II. After that, FN made all these M24 Mausers, Model 24s. They were shipped to VZ, Yugoslavia. Put in, they needed an order to try to standardize all their rifles. So they put in 40,000 units for FN, and then they put in another 40,000 for Zastava Arms. And Zastava worked on these guys here. The difference between the FN and the Zastava is just the action length. This is a standard action length. The FN was a slightly smaller action length, but otherwise they're pretty similar. The 52 in 24/52 denotes the year in which they started the production run of these. It doesn't mean that they only produced them for that time, but it does mean that that's when they started. There was another model of these called the M24-47. It's a more popular version that you'll see around. And all that means is they started production of those, or retrofitting of some of these, in 1947. They started in 1947 and they went into the early 50s. So they were kind of being produced at the same time as these 52s. Visually, very similar in look to each other. But yeah. So, Mauser action, as we kind of talked about with that Mauser action, this one does not have last shot holdback. It does have, which I like, is this little thumb groove here for when you use your stripper clip to load. Your hand sits pretty neat there. We kind of talked about that in a couple other Mausers. It's got that safety that we talked about, where straight up and down you can still work your action, but your trigger's off, and then all the way over your action's locked, as is your trigger. This was chambered in 8mm Mauser, which is this guy right here. So this is an 8mm Mauser. This is a 7.5 by 55 Swedish round. Let me know if you can tell the difference there. They're very, very similar. 7.5 by 55 is just a little bit wider, but otherwise, I mean, visually, they're very similar rounds holding it up. Very hard to tell the difference. So make sure, if you've got some old firearms and you're mixing calibers or have things like that, make sure they're marked, or make sure you check them before you load them, because that'll be an oopsie. That'll not be good for your gun. So 5-round internal magazine, nothing on the bottom that you can drop out, at least readily. So you got your 5-round magazine, got your elevated sights, pretty easy to move. So probably one of the better sight systems. Again, this was produced pretty late, where this might not have seen frontline use in 1952, but this would have been more of like a reservist thing, similar to what you're seeing in the war in Ukraine, where a lot of the not battle line troops of Russia are still using Mosin Nagants and getting issued Mosin Nagants and Mosin PU snipers and all that stuff. It's kind of similar to that. This one's got, which I kind of like, this little dust cap here. So you gotta, to disengage it, you gotta push it in, and then you can push it off, or twist it off from there. And that's all that does, is protect that bore from any debris or anything getting in there. You got your cleaning rod in here, and otherwise it's pretty much a Mauser from there. We'll have a shooting video on this coming up soon. I'm pretty excited for it. But again, yeah, this is your Yugo Mauser. We'll do a check. It's cleared, right? Yes. And we'll just check the trigger out here. This is a 2-stage trigger where it takes it up, right, and then at that wall. It's kind of a chunky click, and it could be I just need to go in there and kind of clean Cosmoline off, but it still is consistent, I'd say. Up to that wall is nice. It's a firm wall, so it's not really spongy. And then that breakover, it just seems a little heavy, is what it seems more of than anything. You know, this one would be a little bit more of a carbine length. So this one's an M24 52C. So this one is a carbine length, so a little bit smaller in length than the traditional rifles. You know, taking this stuff out, let's see, bolt comes out the way that we talked about before. And this is just, let's see if we can get, yeah, I gotta get a, see if we can get like a bore scope or something for you guys. The bore is very clean on this. But yeah, front ramp sight. So you got your front ramp sight up here. It's pretty elevated. Then you got your battle sights back here, your rear sights. Overall, pretty clean gun. I love the wood. On this one in particular, I like the darker wood on the bottom to the lighter wood on top. That's why I kind of chose this one. Still dirty. I got to get in there. I'm now, upon looking at this again, there's definitely a lot of cosmoline that I left on this, so I've got to do a better job of cleaning it. But yeah, I mean, it feels nice. The wood feels great. Overall, great gun. We'll have a shooting video of it up soon. So that's my review right now. It's kind of an overview of the 2452 Yugo Mauser, chambered in 8mm. Thanks, guys. See you in the next one. All right, guys. Thanks for watching today's video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to click that little bell to get notified whenever we post a video.